All right, guys, welcome back to another episode at Project Nine Oaks. We got another interior build for the camper. So we recently went on a camping trip and took the kids, and we ended up using these mattresses on the floor as their beds for the night. So we had not had time to finish the bunk beds before we left, but now's the time to get that done. So right now we're going to be working on making this bottom bunk first, and then we're going to do the top bunk later. The plan is to make these mattresses, which I got online. They're RV like bunk bed mattresses, really. So they're 28 inches wide and 76 inches long. And that's really a skinny bed. You know, it kind of reminds me of the dorm back in the day in college. But it's good enough for one person, and it's long enough. 76 inches is pretty long, so I think that'll work out for them. The plan is to start with the bottom bunk, make it more like a bench seat. So that's going to be something that we can sit on, during the day, things like that. And that top bunk, I'm going to have it on a hinge, so it'll be hinged up, towards the ceiling, so it'll allow you to sit on the bottom bunk. The bottom bunk is going to go over this wheel well right here, so it'll end up being kind of hiding this wheel well, and then make this cubby areas that we're going to put underneath the bottom bunk. There's going to be a wall right here. This is like kind of right by the door. And so there's going to be a wall here to kind of have really for structural support, going to have something for the beds to tie into, kind of make a nice finished end here. And maybe we can put stuff, on the wall as well. But it'll give something for the top bunk to like kind of fold down onto as well. But we're going to get started today. We're going to take a few measurements and figure out how we're going to get this to fit in here, and then go from there. So I appreciate you sticking around. Let's see if we can get this done. All right, so I kind of sketched this out. You can see the bottom bunk here. It kind of sticks in behind this cubby wall back here, and this distance is 27 inches when really the mattress is 28. So it's just going to, barely get squished right here in the edge. But we're going to have the bottom bunk with some cubbies here. It's going to be a wall along the edge where the door is, and then that top bunk is going to fit down on top of it, or portion of it, and be able to have a hinge so it can go up and down. I think I'm going to build it out of, I don't know if you can see this, but I drew it out of pencil. Basically, I'm going to do a 2x4 along the back, 2x2s across, and then a 2x2 across the front. Then I'm going to finish off that 2x2 with a 1x4 later. But we're basically going to be making a 2x4 back piece with 2x2, like almost like a ladder we're going to be building. So we're going to take some measurements of that. And I want to do a 2x4 across the back to take up a lot of the weight. What I don't want, I'm going to secure it mainly on the ends. I might put one screw in the center, but probably on the ends, to where this is spanning the wheel well, and there's really not much support there. If I put a lot of weight on this, it's just going to go on that sheet metal of where the wheel well is. So I'm trying to get the load, when you sit down here, this board will flex, and the load will be transferred over to the edges and the studs, which goes down to the frame. So likely needed a fat board to do that, so a 2x4 should be able to do that. And then a bunch of 2x2s to help spread the load out. Yep, they can hear you if you're talking. Buddy, can you move those things out of the way?
What?
Can you pick up those and move them out of the way, please?
This?
Yeah, and the other one too. Pull it, yeah. Okay, well, I've made some progress here, got the frame put in, and I'm actually going to be adding these stiffeners here. I'll talk about that in a second, but it's 15 inches to the top, and I added these dividers. These are, and I went ahead and painted them white just so it would be a lot easier now. And I put these are basically, they're basically 1x2s. I cut them down from another piece of wood that I had, screwed them into the top. They're not screwed into the bottom right now, so it does have some movement there, but I think once I get the plywood on it and all that kind of stuff, it'll take up some weight and hold it down. And I just have a panel here, and I have some brackets in the back that you can't really see once you're kind of back up here standing. So really it's going to have 3 cubby holes in the front, in the main bed, and then it's going to kind of open up into the back here. So right now I'm trying to put this frame together and put the plywood on top. The plywood I have is just this BC plywood. It's pretty, a nicer finish to it, but the only thickness that I had was, it's about 1/2 inch thick. So it's a little thin. When you sit on it, you kind of sink through without these stiffeners. So I'm going to go ahead and get these stiffeners put on, and then I'm going to put the plywood on top, screw it, glue it down, screw it down, and then we're going to get this wall put in for the edge. All right, so that's it for today. We got the bottom put on, we got the wall put on, and now we got to figure out what we're gonna do for the top bunk. So my wife came in, and my original plan was to do the top bunk and have it flip up to the ceiling, and that would leave this space down here for us to sit on. However, she wanted to maybe change it to where it would fold down, and that way the top mattress is gonna be like the wall for the sofa. So we'll see. But if you flip it down, other kinds of scenario, then when you fold it up, you have to lock it in place so it doesn't fall somehow. So I don't know, there's some things to figure out there. So today we're just gonna call it a day. We got kind of the base of it put together. The wall, I just had it fitted. I'm gonna take it back down and then paint it and then put it back up. So we'll do that next. But I think we'll call it a day. So we'll see you on the next half of this video. We'll be working on the top part of it. Alright, so it's been a little while, but I was able to get the top bunk completed, and it's very similar to the bottom bunk, so there's not much, I didn't want to show all the steps, it's kind of repetitive. Ended up using 2x2s, as the main runs on the front. Actually, this is the back, so the back and the front, and then I put 1x3 on the front. It's going to end up being, when I flip this around, but it's a 1x3, and then I also have another 1x3 on the back. I did that just as another stiffener piece, I guess you'd say, just so I could feel a little better that it's more than just the 2x2s holding it up, because really it's only going to have a few places that it's supported, where the bottom is supported with these supports, you know, every so often, so you don't have to worry about that spanning a huge distance, where the top bunk is going to be spanning you know, pretty long distance. So so that was an exception to the bottom, was adding this 1x3. I also drilled a hole in the side here. This is going to be on that side of the wall where that wire goes in, so it's going to come in here, go through here, and then there's another hole I drilled down here to make it in the center. And I left this open so you can see kind of how I put it together, and that way what I'm going to end up doing is putting some more beadboard underneath here, and then the light is going to go on that. So I'm going to get this attached first, then put the beadboard on after I run the wire, and we'll go from there. So then this, you know, when I flip it up, it'll kind of look like it is now, but it'll have beadboard on it, so it'll kind of, you know, match the wall. You really wouldn't you know, have this stark difference. So right now, kind of mocking things up. I got this kind of sitting right here. This is the wall that I built for the this side of the bunk beds. So I'm going to go ahead and get that supported. It's just going to be screwed into the wall with some pocket screws and into the bottom of the bunk bed from the inside, screwed out into it. I'm going to try to make sure I don't screw through it, but that's going to how I'm going to do the bottom side of things. So we're going to get that mounted. We're going to mount this first, this wall, then we're going to put the hinges on. The hinges are going to go here, right here at one of the studs, or right by the window. Then over here around the back edge, there's another stud right here in the corner. So I'm going to screw into those, and then be ready to mount the bunk. So we'll go ahead and get all that kind of set up and done, and I can bring you along for that. So let's get started. Okay, so we got this kind of mounted right on top. I've got the hinge on one side, hinge on the other. It's screwed into the studs in the wall and into the bed itself. It's going into the frame part of the bed, so it's, you know, biting all 2 inches of that screw. Same on the back here. Actually, this front one kind of missed a little bit, so I'm going to re-drill that one and move it over a little. And then I have this block. This is going to be the block that goes under the end here to hold up the bed, so it's not just, you know, on the hinges itself. So I got a block on this side, and then I'm going to put on this side, I'm going to put another piece of wood under, kind of running the length of it. Well, I gotta redo some of this. I don't know if you can see, but what just happened there, I screwed this in, and that bottom piece, it fits right into this groove, but when I open it up, it grabs this lip. So I'm just gonna cut this lip off right here, and then it'll be able to sit down. You know, the 1x3 will sit on this, and then the whole front, the top part will fit, you know, down on top of this. So what I'm trying to do is get a support across the whole thing, not just the very end. Anyway, so let's go cut that off, and then we'll go re-screw it back on. Okay, I'm back now. I took some more chunks out of this side, so this should be able to rotate up now. Also, one thing I noticed was I needed to rip this down some because the beadboard's going to fit up here, so I cut off enough for the beadboard to fit. So again, when it folds down, it's going to touch on the very ends, but also in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get this buttoned up again. Alright, so it looks like we finished this project for the most part. We got most of it done. There's little finishing touches. So I'm going to fix this hinge. It's a little bit crooked. That's why it's kind of squeaking right now. I'm also going to put another block underneath that hinge. So just as like a little safety measure, just if that hinge starts to fail, I have something for this edge of the bed to kind of fall on, so it doesn't fall on my son. So so that's that. I got it all put up here. It's like we were talking about, it's about 29 inches top to top, I believe 29 or 30 inches top of bed to top of bed. So it gives them kind of a good bit of room underneath for them to, you know, kind of crawl in the bed and not too, you know, claustrophobic. I gotta make some sort of system that it clamps against the wall, likely just a hook and a loop, you know, something fairly simple. And then you can take the mattress, so we're going to put it up against the wall for the bottom bunk, so it's kind of like a sofa during the day. And then at the night, you just fold it down and put the mattress on top and climb up here. So I think it's going to be a good one. It kind of eases up some of the space in here, so when we go on our next camping trip, we're not all sleeping on the floor. Anyway, again, I hope this helps you out in your project. I appreciate you sticking around for this video, and good luck on yours.